Go for it. Yep. You got one? All right.
You know what's funny? How he's using this music, but I think I get in trouble. So you know what? I'm looking for my remote. Give me like 2 seconds. You need to grab a water too. Run!
What'd you think, babe?
I think there's like a silly thing, like way.
Oh, yeah, you got it?
I got Mama got those silly
There's plants coming out of my face. Well, that's Beagle's Cave. Now we're going to another spot where it's a little bit calmer, so we might be able to get the boys in the water. Now, I am a lot warmer than I was down in Cornwall. I'll tell you, a nice, sunny, beautiful day makes all the difference. Oh, look at that water. Hey, look, you got yours. You look like a medieval peasant there. Oh, look at those cute little cheeks. They're just so squishy.
Run!
Take us back to me. There we go. There's a seal over there. Is that cool?
I'm just drinking water on the side.
Hey, Tom, you glad you were in?
Yeah.
I'm in my
Was
box.
it cold?
Yes.
What was the coolest thing you saw?
Seals.
You got all three of them. You're brave. Oh.
I was in a dude's live. He had 400 likes. I can't even get 10. That's crazy.
They're gilly bugs.
Well, to me, he's a kid. He's like, oh, to get your hair braided, probably this length. Not really, but it's whatever. I don't judge or get grudges.
I got two.
Well, check it out. It's a little village of Tobermory on the island of Mull. We were here in 2019.
So today I'm supposed to get
as I remember.
Today's the last day before I give assistance.
Scottish cake of some sort. Yeah, try that. I packed some amazing lunches yesterday and forgot it all in the refrigerator. So we got some food. Oh, and we might have found this.
A massive batch first.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Listen, if you're ever in Oban, Scotland, and you'd like to snorkel with basking sharks or swim with seals or go to Fangs Cave or do any of the stuff you saw us do, check out baskingsharkscotland.co.uk. I'll put a link in the video description below to their website. Are you guys tired?
Yeah.
Oh, I am so tired.
Oh, well, I don't think we're gonna do much more today other than just relax. So I'm gonna put up the camera and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Oh, the gnats are bad today.
My week is down.
Yeah, the car, the gnats. Well, it is a beautiful Sunday morning and we've got a dapper bunch of lads in the car. Are you guys ready for church?
Yep.
Okay. Well, guys, did you have a lovely time at church?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice. And some lovely people invited us over for lunch, and so we're gonna go do that. You could, yeah. Put some cream on there. Look at that. Very nice. You ladies having a good time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, say goodbye to friends, boys. All right, thank you. Bye.
There is a water bottle.
Come on, quick, get in the house before the midgets get us. Protect your legs. What a great day today was. It's just so fun to hang out with people from church, eat food. But it's a little hot, so to cool the boys' bed down a little bit, I've got a frozen water bottle. So we're gonna let them get into a nice cool bed. And I will see you guys in the morning. We're going camping tomorrow. Well, good morning. Me and Becca have decided to go on a breakfast date. We're in this beautiful little Scottish town of Kilmarie in the Argyll region. This place has got breakfast and we can get haggis with our eggs. Oh, there we go. We got breakfast. So this right here is haggis. It's made from the internal organs of sheep and it's got oatmeal in it. It's actually really good. It tastes kind of like a mild, nutty sausage. And this right here is black pudding, which is made from blood, and it tastes a little bit like stuffing. Oh, look, a tackle shop. Got some fishing gear. Shall we head back home and relieve Melanie and the children?
Let's go see Melanie.
Oh, Becca, was that a lovely morning?
Oh, that's lovely. I love it.
Excellent. Well, I better go get Pat. I got some camping to do. Welcome to Barnwood Farm Shop. Look, you guys, they've got Curiosity Cola, Dandelion Burdock. Get a rose lemonade.
Let's do one.
Yes, there's one scoop. That
Do you like it, Pat?
I kind of do. Would this be cool for winter camping?
Oh.
Smells good. Okay. Yeah, don't spill on it. It's a lemon blend. It's kind of like a sweet lemony cornbread.
I'm experiencing being a sheep.
It's a Tom in sheep's clothing. That looks huge. That's all good? A lot of people don't realize this, but Scotland is one of the best places in the world to go camping. Not only is it wild and beautiful and open, it also has the best camping laws anywhere. Here in Scotland, you can go on private land or public land without needing any permits or permission. You can hike, bike, even camp, build campfires. All that stuff is completely legal, whether the land is private or public. As long as you use some good common sense and practice leave no trace camping, you can go wherever you want and explore this beautiful country. It's really one of the few places in the world where you can just put on a backpack and go anywhere your feet can take you. There's a shipwreck there on the beach. Oh yeah, it's an old wooden boat. Oh wow.
That collapsed. That is a piece of pottery.
Oh, that is a piece of pottery. You look at that. Come see this. They would take sheep's wool and dip it in tar, and and they would jam it in between the wood, and that's what keep the water out. That's cool. Oh, look at the cute little fuzzy sheep. Look at that old building. You wanna go check it out? Well, this is just how they make windows when you're making a house out of rocks. Make the windows with a little bit of slate. Watch out, Jake, watch out. Stop. You're squishing it, Jake. Hi. Oh, really? That's the people that own this land that we're crossing, and turns out they're Outdoor Boys fans. So we gotta meet some fans here in Scotland. Well, let's keep going to the castle.
Body.
This castle is almost 500 years old.
Weak.
Oh, look at that.
Over here.
Oh, look at this. All of the stairs that went up.
Stairs came down.
Yeah, this is the toilet. That's the fireplace. Oh, this is awesome. This castle was destroyed in battle during the Covenanting Wars around the 1700s. The MacDougall clan had this castle, and they ended up having to surrender because of lack of water. And they were promised if they surrendered, they wouldn't be killed.
You know, they will end
Then
up
they just
getting
murdered
killed.
everybody.
Okay.
New tonight, an Atlanta rapper who rose to fame with 911. What's your emergency?
We need an ambulance! Let's get out, let's go!
Here to protect people.
Moving to intercept.
You're more important than the job. What if you drive someone over the edge? We gotta all work together. Let's do this. You are not alone.
I'm right here with you.
I love you. I love it. Let's get this stuff. Hulu, the drama you want.
When you need mobile coverage, Cox Mobile is right there with you. We run on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability. It's mobile service that works where you need it, from coast to coast. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
New tonight, an Atlanta rapper who rose to fame with a one-hit wonder is now charged with his cousin. DeKalb County Police arrested Ricky Hawk today. You might know him by his stage name, Silento.
You know who I am, right? Designer, Panda, yeah, let the world know. I'm over 20 million around the world, bro. It's big, bro. Let the world know.
Well, you say you're the GOAT. The GOAT of what? R&B, king of R&B. So you're the king of R&B and the greatest of all time.
It only takes one song to make a rapper a star. But what happens when that song is the only thing they're ever remembered for? Well, that's how you get one-hit wonders. Rappers who explode off a single track, skyrocket to fame, only to come crashing down just as fast, spending the rest of their careers never living up to that song. Which leads to the questions, why do they fall off, how does it happen, and most of all, where are they today? I'm Rashad Bashir, and this is Where Are Rap's One-Hit Wonders Today. And there's no better example of that than Designer. But before we talk about his fall off, we need to discuss how he blew up and gained mainstream recognition. See, Designer first burst onto the scene in 2016 with his debut single, Panda, which became a viral sensation online back in 2015. Not only was the song all over the internet, it also won 5 times platinum in the US and even reached the #1 spot on the Billboard charts after dethroning Rihanna in 2016. So he was off to a great start, right? Not really. Because being successful and famous also has its downsides, and it looked like Designer wasn't really ready for what was about to come next. You see, at just 19 years old, Designer was pushed into the spotlight, and at that point, his life changed forever. He was no longer just a kid rapping with his friends. He was surrounded by the pressures of international tours and other responsibilities.
Cause anxiety. You know what I mean? To a point that it was like certain times I ain't know how to move because I wasn't used to having security guards and shit like that. You know what I mean?
But the overwhelming pressure wasn't the only thing that Designer had to face. When he first heard his hit single Panda, you probably thought that it was a Future song. And you're not alone. Because in the early stages of Designer's career, he was heavily compared to Future. And it wasn't just fans making these comparisons. In fact, even Future himself took shots at Designer early on. And this comparison would be a problem for Designer in the long run, since it would be hard for him to escape Future's shadow. At one point, he even performed Future's songs during his own shows, which made it hard for audiences to see him as an artist with his own identity. And the cracks in his career began to show early. Designer was even booed off stage during a basketball game in Philadelphia. Online, he became the butt of jokes for his behavior, including his infamous Funk Flex freestyle, which many consider one of the worst freestyles of all time.
Cop told me that's my cup, everybody did it right, that's my way. Don't touch, that's my shit. Don't touch, that's my shit. Don't touch, that's my shit. Don't touch, that's my shit.
To add to that, clips of him yelling nonsensical phrases became memes, and instead of being seen as a serious artist, he transitioned into an internet laughing stock.
Don't touch, that's my shit. Don't touch, that's my break. Don't touch, that's my break. Don't touch, that's outrage. You know what it is, fuck.
Despite this, Designer tried to keep up. He insisted he hadn't fallen off, but was instead focusing on producing timeless music. However, his actions said otherwise. Instead of dropping hits, he lashed out at his label, Good Music, and more importantly, Kanye West. You see, by 2018, Designer's relationship with Good Music started to collapse, and he would openly tweet things like, "Free me from this label." And there's probably some truth to what Designer was saying here, because Kanye West, while a musical genius, admitted that running a label wasn't his strength, saying, "Running a record label was the biggest mistake I ever made. I never asked to be a label owner, so he offered it to me, and I took it because I can't be there when people are calling me to the studio to hear some music or approve clothes for a video." And Designer felt the effects of this abandonment firsthand. His album never dropped. Instead, he released a short EP, LOD, or Life of Designer, which flopped hard. Afterward, Designer felt cheated and frustrated, and at that point, he had enough. So what did he do? He started publicly criticizing and beefing with Kanye, calling him things like crazy. For example, in a rant on Instagram, he accused Kanye of ignoring him, saying he had done more for Good Music than anyone else.
Hey, bro, nobody's doing it. Y'all don't like I signed to Kanye West, the biggest. That nigga in the world, y'all think he's a genius.
He expressed his disappointment, explaining he signed with the label to work with Kanye, but rarely had the opportunity to collaborate. And he would also rant about his fans, stating,
"Yeah, man, I'm grateful, bro. I need to be chilling. I need to be so on top."
And by late 2019, Designer finally got his wish. After years of feeling shelved, Designer was released with Good Music. Around this time, a leaked album titled Good appeared on SoundCloud, featuring 23 unreleased Designer tracks. Later, rumors began that this was the album Good Music had refused to release, and leaked out of spite after he left the label. But whether or not this was true, Designer was definitely relieved to be free, stating,
"You win any second. This is the dream of every artist. This is the dream of every artist. Any second, any time I get the bag out here, and I'm still touring, I'm still doing my thing. No label behind me right now."
However, it really makes you ask the question, why was Designer treated so badly in Good Music? Was he a bad artist? Well, not really, because a lot of fans beg to differ. In fact, following the massive success of Panda, Designer dropped his next major single, Timmy Turner. This haunting track was first heard out of a viral XXL freshman freestyle, and the song actually went platinum and proved that Designer wasn't just a one-hit wonder, at least not yet. However, despite Timmy Turner's massive success, the song didn't replicate the success of Panda, and Designer's momentum quickly began to disappear. Right after the success of Timmy Turner back in 2016, Designer found himself in serious legal trouble. September 8th of 2016, Designer was arrested in New York City on a felony substance and firearm charge after an alleged road rage incident. Reports said that the incident began on 42nd Street, 8th Avenue in Manhattan, when a fight broke out between Designer's SUV and another driver. And according to the unidentified victim, during the heated exchange, Designer even waved his toy at him. So after the SUV drove off, the driver immediately took down the license plate and called 911. And unfortunately for Designer, his escape plan didn't exactly work. Not long after, police tracked down the car and pulled it over. And once authorities searched the vehicle, what was supposed to be only firearm charges turned out to be a lot more. The cops found controlled substances in plain sight inside the SUV. Designer, along with the 4 other passengers, were arrested on the spot. And once they were booked, they were charged with criminal possession of controlled substances with the intent to sell. And Designer had it the worst of all, as he had an added felony charge, criminal possession of a loaded firearm, and menacing for allegedly showing it off. Fortunately for Designer, his legal troubles didn't last long. The Designer was eventually cleared of all charges just days after the arrest, so when the police searched the vehicle, they didn't actually find any firearms. According to Ian Niles, the lawyer of Designer's crew, it's dangerous to say that just because there were 4 black men in the car, they had substances, firearms. Who that was who reported that needs to be figured out. And without a firearm involved, the prosecution had little to stand on, and the remaining charges were soon dismissed as well. All Designer's attorney had to say was, there's nothing here, there's nothing recovered, there really is nothing here. We're happy he's been exonerated. And after the verdict, Designer was just as happy as ever, and it felt like nothing happened.
Crazy, man. Nigga crazy, right? Y'all be back out here, man. You did. I heard fucking that niggas crazy. I heard niggas said I didn't fucking tell Pimp.
But while he might seem all joyous and victorious now, one of his next viral moments was the exact opposite. Another memorable moment in Designer's decline came after the tragic passing of the Migos rapper Takeoff in 2022. Visibly shaken, Designer took to Instagram Live in an emotional breakdown, sobbing and announcing he was retiring from rap.
It ain't nothing. I'm done rap. I'm done rap. This version of me is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Y'all took that off, bro.
He broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the loss of his dear friend, and the rawness of the grief went viral. It looked like Designer had finally lost it. However, he would later clarify his emotional breakdown in an interview with Bootleg Kev, saying,
They had wound up hitting me, man. I had wound up losing like 3 friends in a month, no less to Big Kev. And word is just like, you know.
However, this wasn't the only time Designer's public appearances took a chaotic turn. In a separate incident, he had a tense encounter with police where he was recorded shouting at officers to back off, repeatedly asserting his fame by yelling,
I have any charges. Go. I don't have no charges. Hey, stop getting close to me, sir. Please, stop stepping close to me, sir.
The scenes might be funny to some, but Designer was playing a very dangerous game. However, some say that this was just his way of trying to stay relevant.
You know who I am, right? Designer, Panda, yeah, let the world know. I'm over 20 million around the world, bro.
These erratic episodes, coupled with his legal troubles and public meltdowns, showed an artist struggling to keep up with his past success.
It's big, bro. But the wrong one. I'm letting you know. This is bigger than Freddie Kids Home. I'm letting you know.
Many speculated that his emotional outbursts symbolized his ongoing battle with the pressures of his career and personal life. And this wasn't just exclusive to his public feud with Kanye, the police. Designer slowly but surely began to blackball himself inside the entire music industry. And one of the best examples of this was when he went off on rapper ESTG after he couldn't afford a feature. When Designer reached out for a feature, ESTG or his manager reportedly quoted a $75,000 fee, which Designer thought was unreasonable. And instead of negotiating or letting it go, Designer took to social media to rant once again, calling out ESTG.
I was trying to charge me $75,000 ESTG, bro. Yo, you're garbage. You use hot garbage. You can't perform like me. You can't never make a song like anybody in New York City. You're trash, bro.
He also compared his diamond certified success with Panda to ESTG's relatively modest achievements.
You feel me? Stop playing with me. For real, for real. Yeah, they never saw what I saw. That's on my mother. Still trapping your little gold records. Kid, all the chains on your neck, boy. For real. You a slave to the game.
However, this rant just showed that Designer was clinging to his past achievements. Unfortunately, it was hard for him to accept that he was no longer seen as a relevant figure in the industry. After setbacks, Designer seemed to make a push for relevance again by dropping a song with Slim Jimmy called Pillow, which unfortunately only gained about 200,000 views. It was far from what Panda was, but it was still a glimmer of hope. And for a moment, it seemed like Designer might turn things around. However, things took a much darker turn just before he could fully regain his footing. Just right after his clash with ESTG, Designer would fall into much deeper legal trouble. But this time, there wasn't any substances or firearms involved. Now, he was in trouble over a defamation lawsuit. And this all started when Designer blasted a woman on Instagram for allegedly scamming his sister. And what started as an Instagram post blasting a woman for allegedly scamming his sister quickly turned into a 6-figure problem for the rapper. You see, in late 2017, he called out the founder of College Girl, Jessica Brown, posting in all caps, saying, "This girl is a fraud, tried to scam me into paying for my sister to get her into Howard University, and now she is trying to hold my sister's belongings. Please stay away from her and her college scams. Warning, stay away from the scammers." For context, according to the suit, College Girl is a company dedicated to helping younger people with college tuition. And according to Brown, they already assisted Shelby with her admission into Howard and even helped her secure a storage unit while she was there. And with just one post, things got messy when Shelby left the university, leaving her belongings behind in that storage unit. However, Jessica wouldn't just let Designer slander her name. She wasted no time in responding. In February of 2018, she filed a defamation and invasion of privacy lawsuit against Designer, arguing that his public accusations severely damaged her reputation and painted her company as illegitimate. Instead of fighting the lawsuit, Designer couldn't contest it at all. This decision led to a default judgment in Brown's favor, meaning the judge automatically ruled against him. And by early 2019, the court had officially ordered Designer to pay Brown a staggering $135,777.11 damages. And while this might not have been a major financial hit during its peak, by this point, things were different. This only made a deeper cut to his already declining career. And unlike his rash and loud accusations on Instagram, Designer had nothing to say once the judgment was handed down. He never even publicly addressed the lawsuit, and there were no reports of him attempting to appeal the decision. But if you thought that ranting on Instagram was bad, Designer was capable of much more disturbing acts. Because what he did in 2023 was so wild that even the FBI had to get involved. On April 24th, 2023, Designer was arrested for indecent exposure following a disturbing incident on a flight from Tokyo to Minneapolis. According to reports, Designer was caught. Yep, you heard that right. Designer was having some fun time publicly while on the way back home. According to reports, the flight attendants warned him 3 times to stop, and each time he complied shortly but would continue moments later. After the third warning, the crew had no choice but to move him to the back of the plane, where he remained under supervision until the flight landed, where he was met and interviewed by an FBI agent. Designer eventually admitted to his actions, but he still had the guts to reason with the officers, explaining he hadn't had any fun times with a woman in a week while in Japan, and was aroused by one of the flight attendants. Now, that's just disgusting, and it only made the situation worse. So after the incident, Designer was forced to release a statement, stating, "For the past few months, I've not been okay, and I've been struggling to come to terms with what's going on. While overseas for a concert I performed at, I had to be admitted into a hospital. I was not thinking clearly. They gave me meds, and I had to hop on a plane back home. I'm ashamed of my actions that happened on that plane when I landed back in the States." And he also added that he was finally getting some help. "And I'm admitting myself into a facility to help me. I'll be canceling all my shows and any obligations until further notice. Mental health is real, guys. Please pray for me. If you're not feeling like yourself, please get help." However, he later still pleaded guilty to the charges, resulting in 2 years of probation and mandatory registration as a offender. However, when he made a guest appearance on the No Jumper podcast with Adam 22, he tried to clarify what happened, saying,
"Mentally, Adam, I wasn't in the right place. Like, I had a long time to think about this, and it's just like literally mentally, I wasn't in the right place. I was just like having so much fun. I was just having so much fun and just like, word."
After the incident, Designer claimed he realized he needed to get better.
You know, I came back home though, and I just really just started bettering myself from there. I was just like, yo, it's time to read more. It's time to go on hikes. It's time to work out. It's time to really put myself in, build a mental, camp for myself for really just putting it together.
He then made excuses like being a vegan for his weird behavior, saying,
"I was fully tweaked out my mind. This is when I was vegan. I didn't have enough sugars and stuff like that."
Unfortunately for Designer, this incident was the final nail in the coffin for his career. At that point, no artist wanted to collaborate with him since they didn't want to risk their reputation by associating with him. On the other hand, media personalities such as DJ Academics relied on Designer's story, calling it part of the one-hit wonder syndrome. He explained,
"I always tell you, there's like a syndrome of rappers who get to fame really quickly, and it's via like maybe one hit. I kind of want to call it the one-hit wonder theory."
Academics' theory highlights how sudden access can create a mental and emotional void once the fame fades.
Where that high, that probably lasts for like 2 or 3 years, it really, that dopamine rush is so crazy.
For Designer, the pressures of maintaining a career after Panda may have contributed to struggles.
But sometimes that fame and euphoria that they get from all of that is just not there anymore.
To argue that if Designer didn't become famous, he wouldn't be mentally struggling right now.
I guarantee, like, we got to think about this. I guarantee when Designer was in the motherfucking hood and broke his shit, he wouldn't have mental problems. I don't think so.
He pointed out that even if the artist still has money, the absence of fame and euphoria that once surrounded them can leave a significant void.
So what the f- is it about fame and money that now he's traveling all over the world singing that Panda song, and then he's getting back on a plane and the fuck off and crying on camera like, what's going on?
He emphasized that he wasn't even trying to disrespect Designer, but rather shed light on a broader issue.
And I don't mean to disrespect anybody or even Designer, because you could see two of them under Timmy Turner.
And he noted how the syndrome seems to immensely affect artists who blow up quickly and then experience a steep decline in public interest.
But I do believe there's something about rappers who blow up really quickly, have the world in the palm of their hands, and years later, nobody cares about them.
So where is he today? Well, today, Designer continues to release music independently. While his numbers are very low compared to his peak, it's not horrible. However, the same could not be said for our next rapper, Ty Leno, who went from being a regular high school student to reaching hip-hop superstardom overnight. In 2015, a 17-year-old Ty Leno uploaded a track called Watch Me to SoundCloud. Little did he know that this track would propel him to global superstar. Watch Me became viral only a few months after it was uploaded, and virtually everyone and their mothers have heard of the song. However, like so many others on this list, Zion Lennon wasn't able to top his biggest hit, not even close to it, and in the end, he was dubbed a one-hit wonder. You see, Watch Me became a dance craze and reached mainstream success. Only a few months after its release on SoundCloud, the song charted and peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed there for a total of 6 weeks, and on the chart for a total of 53 weeks, meaning over a year. So considering how fast Zion Lennon became popular with Watch Me, many fans predicted that his downfall would come as fast. Zion Lennon, on the other hand, wasn't concerned at all.
So when you make a song like that, you kind of get grouped into like a one-hit wonder status. You know, like, are you worried about that? Can you break that streak? I mean, you got the 4 sunglasses on, you floss and everything.
Yes, I can break that streak. Before Watch Me, I was making other music, rapping and singing. So this right here was just like the Watch Me track.
As confident as he was, his one-hit wonder status has become clearer and clearer each year as he didn't release any new songs. You see, what a lot of people didn't know was the reason why Zion Lennon didn't make any new music from 2015 to 2018 was because he was still finishing high school. Even though his track was immensely successful, Zion Lennon decided to finish school to fulfill his great-grandma's wishes, who had been taking care of him since he was little.
Another reason why I didn't have an album out or nothing, she wanted me to graduate from high school. So that was something that I had to do because she took me in and took care of me. And my parents couldn't. My great-grandma.
So as soon as he fulfilled that wish and finished high school, he went to work and began working on new music and appearing in interviews to remind people he was still here. His confidence still unshaken, unbothered by pressure, and was still unaffected by the one-hit wonder criticism.
I know I put one song out, but you gotta check the facts behind that one song compared to all these other songs that's out that's not making an impact on culture.
And while Zion Lennon's dedication to finish high school and his unwavering confidence were admirable, there's a reason why artists who get lucky enough to become viral drop everything to focus on their careers, because every artist needs to strike while the iron is hot. Unfortunately, Zion Lennon forgot to consider this.
I think people have forgotten about you. People haven't released something. My
My
song
song
is timeless. That's the difference between me and all the other artists. My music is timeless. It's not about the moment. It's about being in that moment for life. So I have timeless music. When you have timeless music, people will never forget it. Like I can go anywhere in the world that don't speak English and they play my song and they know my name. So I'm on timeless music campaign.
And so he tried to recapitalize on the success of Watch Me by creating a sequel track called Watch Me Part 2, which, like its predecessor, Watch Me, also references already known dances. Zion Lennon obviously wanted to spark another dance craze, which is what made him viral in the first place.
Watch Me Part 2, what can you say about this record at this point?
It's a little bit more faster, it's still energizing, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people already like it. It's just Watch Me Part 2.
But unfortunately for Zion Lennon, the lightning didn't strike in the same place for him. Watch Me Part 2 flew under everybody's radar, and unlike his debut single, nobody cared about the song. It didn't even go viral for just a little bit. No dance was made for it, and it didn't chart. So it's safe to say that Watch Me Part 2 had failed to live up to Zion Lennon's expectations by a mile. So why did he do this? Well, when Zion Lennon climbed back up on the saddle, he wanted to try something different. He didn't want to be labeled as a dance artist. He wanted to be creative.
Well, I know how to make dance songs. That's not hard. It's just the fact that I didn't want to be a dance artist, be just labeled as a dance artist, when I know that I can do different types of music.
Knowing his career was on thin ice, though, a friend of his suggested that he should just stick to what worked the first time.
I was in the studio, I got all types of music, and my friend was like, just go ahead and do another dance song.
Zion Lennon even asked some of his fans if he should just make another dance song instead of diversifying his sound, and they apparently all said yes, a rookie mistake.
Because I went to some schools and I actually asked my fans. I was like, do y'all want me to do another dance song? They was like, yeah.
But luckily for him, that wasn't the only thing he had planned. Zion Lennon also had an album on the way, which he had been hard at work on since finishing high school. This would also become his first studio album 3 years into his career, and bless his little heart, Zion Lennon believed that this album, which he thought would become the best album of all time, would remove his one-hit wonder status.
And I feel like I'm gonna have the best album in history for me to be characterized as a one-hit wonder.
Unfortunately, fresh out of high school, flopped hard. In fact, it didn't even chart. Most of his tracks only had 5-digit streams on Spotify, a far cry from the hundreds of millions of streams his debut single achieved. Can you blame his confidence? Keep in mind, back then, Zion Lennon was on top of the world. The success of Watch Me was unfathomable. Back in 2016, he won at the Billboard Music Awards for Top Streaming Song Video and was nominated in multiple categories, including Top New Artist, top streaming songs artist, top rap artist, and top radio song. But even before that, Sly Leno was already garnering awards. A year before that, he took home the Best Dance Performance Award at the Soul Train Awards, and the song also earned him the nomination for Choice's R&B/Hip Hop Song at the 2015 Teen Choice Awards. And with the song dominating the charts, Sly Leno was also able to perform on some of the biggest stages in music. For instance, he was able to put on a high-energy performance at the BET Awards.
Mom, just start the music! Silent Tone, come out here with my baby! And the kids are blackish, we got you!
On the other hand, he was also able to perform his hit song live on TV on Good Morning America.
Get ready for Silento. He's going to perform his hit song Watch Me.
But on top of that, he was also able to travel the whole country by touring back in 2016 with the Let's Dance the Tour. However, it wasn't all great. One instance where Sly Leno got in major trouble was when he was set to play an event in the UAE. You see, in 2017, Sly Leno was invited to play in Abu Dhabi. However, he failed to show up at both venues. As a result, a travel ban was issued on the rapper, courtesy of the promoters who invited him, preventing him from leaving the country. He was ordered by a judge to surrender his passport to the court until the matter was resolved. On top of that, Sly Leno was ordered to pay for lost expenses, including performance fees, travel and marketing costs, which cost around 300,000 dirhams or $82,000. Sly Leno's representative in the Middle East, Yada Kadam, insisted that he didn't cancel any shows and that there was a reason why he didn't show up to both events. The reason there was a quote-unquote no-show from Sly Leno is because the promoter failed to pay for hotels, transportation, and whatnot. But countering that statement, the promoter said, Sly Leno just didn't show up. I wanted to get my own money back. I don't want to ruin his reputation. So, with all that going on, a kid from Georgia, presumably a Sly Leno fan, decided to take matters into his own hands, setting up a GoFundMe page called Free Sly Leno to raise money. The campaign aimed to raise $100,000 for Sly Leno, but he could pay the court and go home. Bring me back to America, hashtag Sly Leno Mob, the campaign description said. But while this GoFundMe campaign wasn't able to raise enough money to get Sly Leno home, or raise any money at all, Sly Leno was able to get back to the US eventually. I was detained, I did not give up my passport at all, Sly Leno said. I made some phone calls, life is all about contacts, lawyers, it was talking, they got everything together, and I was in the clear to go in the next 48 hours. He also said that he paid all the legal fees and is planning to countersue the promoter for the shows he missed while he was stuck in the UAE. They tried to make a fake case on me saying that I took some money or I didn't show up to a show, but the promoter didn't follow through with the requirements for me to do a show. Thankfully for Sly Leno, he didn't face a bigger repercussion from the matter. However, Dubai wasn't the only time he would get tangled up in the law. In August of 2020, Sly Leno was arrested in St. Anna for alleged domestic violence. And while he was released on bond that night, he was arrested once again the next day for entering a stranger's home in the Valley Village while